introduction to my house. This is my comfy chair, and here we have a Model C. Now this Model C I picked up on my honeymoon back in February of this year. I found it at an auto jumble in Italy. It was missing its wheels and missing loads of other odds and sods, but thankfully stuff that I actually had lying around. And this is pretty much the aim of why I am a scooter dealer. Was that I can go down to Italy, I can pick up bikes, sell the ones on, the common ones, and keep some rarities for myself. This Model C was actually sprayed with cans because my compressor packed up, so you could do something like this from the comfort of your own home and Halfords. The one next to it is an old Vespa Clubman. This is actually a British built scooter, and just for future reference, if anyone is thinking of buying one, don't. British scooters are a load of old rubbish. They're made of inferior materials, none of the nuts and bolts are standard, and they're a total pain in the backside to try and get parts for. But they look great sitting in your living room. Now I've got plenty of other bikes out in my garden and out in my workshop, and plenty more in workshops, three-wheelers and all sorts of weird ones. But I'll take you on a tour of what I've actually got here, and hopefully you might find some of it interesting. This is a French LD here. Now, I sprayed all this myself many years ago. It's a bit of a mess now, but I bought it for £60. And this goes to show what you can do with a bit of determination. I mean, this is a roadworthy machine. It's great fun to ride. It's not fast, but for maybe 260 now with the paint and a few bits, it's very good value for money. It will never depreciate, and it's a bit of motoring history. Right, now this is my garden. Now, as a scooter dealer, I have to suffer having a garden like this, so I hope the customers appreciate all of this. What I'd really like is a pond with loads of pot plants, and it'll be fantastic, but no, my garden's full of scooters. This one though, I quite like. This is the first one I ever bought when I was 14, and I've kept hold of it for all these years. It's a TV175 Series 2, and when I first bought it when I was 14 years old, it cost me £40. The same sort of bike now in this condition is easily worth £2,000. But even though it sounds excessive, it's never going to go down in value. You have got no depreciation. It's just going to keep on going and going and going, giving you 100 miles per gallon and a lot of fun. It's got to be better than one of these new bikes.
1961 I bought my first scooter, yeah. It was a Sportique, funny enough. Not this one. I wish to say it was, but it wasn't. Certainly I was 16. Mod scene in London.
It was brilliant. We used to just drift out of London, and there was times when I actually left North London, about 6 or 7 of us. And the time we crossed Vauxhall Bridge and going out the other side of London, there'd be 50, 100 or hundreds of us. We used to be just across the road, and nobody would bother with you because there was too many of us.
Yeah, much better than Quadrophenia and all that. I mean, say I was originally there, so done Brighton in '64 and everything, went everywhere. So Clacton, Southend, everywhere. So it was brilliant.
And times when we were going down to, I think it was Margate one year, and on the outskirts of Margate, I remember coming up to a junction, about 4 or 5 of us, and these rockers or greasers, we used to call them at the time, with the motorcycles, and one with a sidecar, and they sort of shouted as we went past. The next thing I looked behind, and this one stood up in the sidecar swinging a big bicycle chain, and actually chased us. I think my scooter had never gone so fast in his life. But it was just amazing things like that happening all the time. Like this conflict, conflict with the rockers and the mods. Thank God, nobody I know personally got really injured.
Had the usual run-ins with the rockers, but that was mainly hyped up, and things like that. So, but in general, it's brilliant.
For in them days, it would transport my way to work, courting days, and today it's just an hobby.
I think it was quite historical, really, in a sense. I think it was the first time, really, that young people had the mobility for low cost. I mean, you could buy a scooter at quite a reasonable price and be fully mobile, as I said, and it become a sort of a way of life, Well, they used to call them scooter boys, didn't they? But, you could take a girl out in the back, and, you had to have freedom, didn't you? To do things and to go places that you would never have gone, really, unless you caught the train or we lived in London, so it was lovely to get out of London. And I remember when silly thing like that. I first had my scooter. I won some money in work on one of these tote things, and I was only 16, and it was only like 15 quid, and I remember giving my mother an extra fiver housekeeping, and taking my mate up to the pub out in the country, and we had a nice ploughman's, but we had the freedom to do it because we had the scooter. I wouldn't have been able to do that if I hadn't had the scooter, you know. It was absolutely amazing.
Now these are all bikes from my personal collection. Now you have to excuse the mess in here because I don't keep anything tidy or in any order whatsoever. For some reason it seems to work, I don't know why, but I'm going to stick with it. Now what we have here, we've got an old Li Series 1 here. Now that one I've had since I was 17 years old, and I wouldn't part with it for all the money in the world. I think it's great. Through long hair, quiffs, skinheads, you name it, I've always had that bike and I think it's great. Now this one's a nice one over here. And the one next to it as well. It's not particularly nice, but it's interesting. Now this is a genuine 1963 Vespa GS 160. Now when you buy them in England, they generally tend to be rotted out, and they're quite hard to find. Down in Italy also hard to find now. Dealers have been going down there for 10, 15 years and picking up the best bikes. But I picked this one up in Milan this year, and I was really pleased with it. It has surface rust, but it's all complete, it's all original, everything works on it, and I'm just pleased as punch. Next to it here, we've got something else I'm equally happy with, but I can't imagine anybody else would be. But this is a Lambretta Ribbot. It's a 48cc Lambretta, and it cost me £50, and I was pleased as punch. I've got all the headlamp for it of somebody I know in Italy and all the other parts that I need. But the great thing about this is the fact that back in 1955, this thing would do over 200 miles to the gallon. With the technology that they have had then, they can do it. Now, how many twist and goes now? 50cc bikes can get anywhere near that sort of economy. We should be asking the petrol companies why that is the case. But I wouldn't suggest that everybody goes out and buys a Lambretta Ribbot, because the roads would become very slow, very frustrating and quite dangerous. But when it's done, it'll be an interesting addition to my collection. I'll probably do it over the winter when I've got a bit of spare time and I don't have to mess around with people's clutches and gearboxes and ignitions and MOTs. And when I've got a bit more time, I'll finish it off. Now over here is my next project. I'll be doing this over the next 2 weeks, trying to get it finished in time for the Isle of Wight scooter rally. I'm going to rebuild the engine on it. It's a Vespa 150. In England, they were known as the Sportique, but the English ones, like the Clubman, are a pile of old rubbish. This one we've taken it back to bare metal. We're going to restore absolutely everything, all new bushes, bearings, brake shoes, do the whole damn lot, and hopefully I'll get about £1,000, £1,100 for it, something like that. That will stand me in at about £300–400 profit, which I'm quite happy with. For a good solid week's work in your own garden, doing what you like at your own speed, getting up when you like, it's better than any office job that I've had in the past. Over here we have another one of my personal collection. This is actually a Model F. This is quite an unusual machine, and not a great number of them were imported into the UK. Out in Italy they're scarce as well, but I managed to find this one on my honeymoon again, and I was pleased with it. And next to it we have a Model LC, another ridiculously rare machine. Unfortunately missing side panels, and getting hold of parts like side panels for something like an LC is just mission impossible. I have a lead in Geneva at the moment for a pair, but if that will come to anything, I do not know. We'll have to wait and see. But as soon as I have the panels, I shall crack on and I shall start restoring it. But that's basically what I have, and that's what I do. I go out and I pick up scooters, I bring them back, I get them running, put an MOT on and I sell them on, and I absolutely love it. The freedom of the road, being up in the Alps, running around Italy, drinking in bars and eating pizzas. It's absolutely fantastic. It's such a great way of life. It doesn't pay anything like as much as I used to earn when I was working as an accountant, but now at least I'm doing something that I really totally enjoy. And I hope everyone out there appreciates that I enjoy it, and that not all scooter dealers. In fact, I don't think I've ever met a shady scooter dealer, so the reputations that they have are purely unfounded, and I guess based on jealousy because everybody else is out there doing rubbish jobs. I don't know, I'll leave it to you to make up your own mind.
Yeah, everyone's got boring, mundane jobs. As long as there's a rally at the end of the week, you can cope. So, and you let your hair down and go mad and drink loads.
I mean, as you can tell, the site's just fantastic. It's just nice to be noticed, you know, for being a part of it. And that's the essential part, is getting out of the old boring rat race and doing something crazy for a weekend away. And I love it. I just love it.
Quite in your face, you know, approach. It's every day. It's the only form of transport I've got, so I'm using it every single day to work, and I'm burning around after work on it, and I use it every day, so more than most people actually. I mean, a lot of people just use them on Sundays and on weekends, but me, it's every day. It's like probably, you know, what, 4 hours a day on it, you know. Yeah, it's a lot.
It's just a great scene, you know, and everyone's so sociable, so helpful in general. Saying that, we'll probably have our first fight tonight. No, all in all, it's a good crack and a good laugh. So I suppose I'm just reliving my youth, really. That's part and parcel of it.
The buzz is riding to a rally with all my mates, going to meet new friends and that. Just the buzz of seeing like 60 scooters going through the streets, all different styles. The smell of two-stroke burning, you know, the noise is a different exhaust, from standard exhaust to your racing exhaust. It's just a buzz like.
Kids, I think over the years, I think now we cater for the kids more and more, and that's the idea of it, to get the kids more introduced to the scene so they enjoy it more, because when we're gone, somebody's got to take it over, haven't they? It's your family. It's your family. If you get involved in the scene, you'll find that everybody is a big family, and that's what it's all about. Enjoy. I mean, a lot of our club members, they are a family, and we hang about out of the scooter scene together, and that's what it's all about, enjoying yourself and getting on with each other.
Hello there, this is a 1959 Lambretta with a difference. It's got a 1998 Gilera 180 engine in it, with the suspension, electrics and everything else to go with it. We've got 12-inch wheels instead of the original 10. It's got indicators and everything you need for the day. Basically, something I wanted to do. Lambrettas, obviously, as everybody know, are not quite reliable. So
I don't think I've ever met a shady scooter dealer, so the reputations that they have are purely unfounded, and I guess based on jealousy because everybody else is out there doing rubbish jobs. I don't know, I'll leave it to you to make up your own mind.
Yeah, everyone's got boring, mundane jobs, but as long as there's a rally at the end of the week, you can cope. So, and you let your hair down and go mad and drink loads.
I mean, as you can tell, the site's just fantastic. It's just nice to be noticed, you know, for being a part of it. And that's the essential part, is getting out of the old boring rat race and doing something crazy for a weekend away. And I love it. I just love it.
Quite in your face, you know, approach. It's every day. It's the only form of transport I've got, so I'm using it every single day to work, and I'm burning around after work on it, and I use it every day, so more than most people actually. I mean, a lot of people just use them on Sundays and on weekends, but me, it's every day. It's like probably, you know, what, 4 hours a day on it, you know. Yeah, it's a lot.
It's just a great scene, you know, and everyone's so sociable, so helpful in general. Saying that, we'll probably have our first fight tonight. No, all in all, it's a good crack and a good laugh. So I suppose I'm just reliving my youth, really. That's part and parcel of it.
The buzz is riding to a rally with all my mates, going to meet new friends and that. Just the buzz of seeing like 60 scooters going through the streets, all different styles. The smell of two-stroke burning, you know, the noise is a different exhaust from standard exhaust to your racing exhaust. It's just a buzz like.
Kids, I think over the years, I think now we cater for the kids more and more. And that's the idea of it, to get the kids more introduced to the scene so they enjoy it more. Because when we're gone, somebody's got to take it over, haven't they? It's your family. It's your family. If you get involved in the scene, you'll find that everybody is a big family, and that's what it's all about. Enjoy. I mean, a lot of our club members, they are a family, and we hang about out of the scooter scene together. And that's what it's all about, enjoying yourself and getting on with each other.
I think that something, you know, a big company may take it on. You never know.
Here we are in Rimini. Now we're just coming up to the National Motorcycle Museum. Now inside here we've got another big auto jumble to go to. It's a big 2-day event. A lot of the smaller jumbles you don't find a great deal of stuff at anymore, and the jumbles are certainly dying out. The commercial element to it is almost over now. If you have a Lambretta now, hold on to it. Watch the price. It's going to go up and up and up, because the only place to replace these old bikes comes from Italy, and the supply is drying up here now. You won't find SX200s, you won't find TV175s, very, very rarely. If you're very lucky, you may, but you'll certainly find plenty of parts. Incredible. Here we've got, as I mentioned earlier, the bike that I didn't think we were going to find. A TV175 Series 3. It's nice to find, it's quite original, it's battered about, it's knackered. This is the sort of thing that really you've got to restore yourself. It can't be got on the road as is. Well, the nice touches are the fact that it still has a disc brake down here with the windows in it. The front mudguard, if you can hear that, you can certainly see that it's split. It's fiberglass. Classic TV175 Series 3 front mudguard. And the engine turns over, true to Italian form. Absolutely fantastic. I've just arranged to buy this bike, so there's no point anybody else coming to Italy to see if they can buy it. It's mine. This is your bog standard Lambretta, your Li 150 Series 3. In my opinion, the best Lambretta they ever built. You get your SX200s, your TV200s with expensive disc brakes, costs a fortune to buy, and just not worth it really. This, perfect size engine, very economical, very reliable, you can get absolutely everything for them, amazing. Just checking the engine, lovely. Very rarely have I found one in England in this sort of condition where the engine turns over. I guess it's all to do with the humidity, temperature, water in the air and all the rest. The engines tend to turn over here, which is great, because that not only means that it's going to be easier to strip down, but it means you're more likely to less likely to have had moisture inside the crankshaft, which affects all the big end journals and stuff like that. And then you're talking 70, 80 quid for getting hold of a new crankshaft. Wow, look at that. Now this is a Luna 50 CL. Now this was a very popular model. Now remember, in Italy you could ride a 50cc bike at the age of 14. So you imagine, the late 60s, loads of groovy, funky, fashion-conscious, gorgeous Italian girls, were riding around on this really spacey sort of thing. Now it does look a bit spacey, but you remember what was happening at the time. World history dictates, we were having the race to the moon. And this was known as the Luna line. This one, the Luna 50. Then you had the Vega, the Star, the Cometa, the first bike I ever had legally on the road at the age of 16. I restored it at 15. Bit bizarre really, but I don't regret doing it. I've just found a Lambretta stall here. Now, this is not a Lambretta stall to be taken lightly. You won't find this at any English auto jumble. Look at this. Rear hub nuts, air filters, everything for Model Ds, LDs, the proper little nuts, the little shafts with the split pin holes in them, air hoses, grips for every single model, brand new LD levers, and it's top quality reproduction stuff as well. stand feet rubbers, kickstart rubbers, all the other rubbers, everything that you possibly need. More rubbers, rubbers and rubbers and rubbers. Amazing. If you like rubbers, that's the place to be. Here, now look inside here. We have got speedometers. That is an ammeter, an Innocenti ammeter.